Just clearing my aroma tubes. Okay, so this is my second review of this evening. And this one takes me back. This is another Brit. This is Trademark No1 Premium Pale Ale by Bass. Bass have been going for a while. I remember when I was a kid, Bass was everywhere. And I don't really remember anything about it. I mean, other than it was a fairly nondescript pale ale. Is this a trip down memory lane? Or do I have no memory? But I haven't touched this stuff in donkey's years. So it's brewed in Britain since the 18th century. I told you it'd been going a while. Oh, that's tiny print. Due to Bass's popularity, competition often forged the Bass triangle on their labels to emulate Bass's success. Oh, okay, so the competition nicked the triangle. That's what they're saying there. As a result, in 1876, the distinctive Bass triangle was a key iconic symbol of the first trademark to be registered in the UK. Wow, I really didn't know that. Well, now there's a piece of history. I didn't expect to uncover that. Bass ale is richly fragrant, has a wonderful hoppy bouquet, and a bright chestnut hue. Doesn't really tell you a lot of ingredients, just stuff about drinking sensibly. Well, it's too late for me. Having saved yourselves by all means. Brewed in Great Britain since the 18th century. Doesn't tell you what the hop is, doesn't tell you what the malt is. So I think the only way to really find out any more is to get the thing open. It didn't say bottle condition, so I don't suppose it is. Well, I can't tell. I'll pour it carefully anyway, just in case. So here we go. It's a classic sound, isn't it, from that type of bottleneck. Quite flat, so I'm going to generate a little bit of ed. It's probably plenty now. That's not bottle condition. It would have said, no, we're good. I've seen bitters that colour. Very little aroma. Really very little. I just blow my nose and everything. It looks like it ought to have more aroma than it does. Let's push on to the flavour test. Well, it's beer. That's definitely beer. Right, it's not just dark for a pale ale. It's quite bitter as well. It's quite dry. Surprisingly dry. It's a 4.4% alcohol by volume, but it tastes quite thin. I mean, I had to induce that head. Oh, pardon me. It's quite gassy. as you might be able to tell. It's quite drinkable. It is quite drinkable. But I would serve it a lot colder. I'd treat it like a lager. It's cheap. It's cheap and there's a twang to it. I mean, Bass was always quite a cheap and cheerful beer. In my day, pubs were divvied up. You had a public bar, and then quite often there was then the saloon. And the public bar, anybody was welcome. Anybody and their dog. Absolutely. Filthy dirty from work, it didn't matter. But the saloon, that was a little different. They wouldn't smile upon you if you turned up absolutely caked in rubble, for instance. Or say if you were a chimney sweep but you hadn't nipped home to change and wash first. Something like that. They'd invite you maybe to go and move to the public bar. And sometimes even the pubs were different. You might see something in the saloon bar that wasn't in the public bar, because the public bar was cheap and cheerful. And Bass was the sort of thing you would see. If it wasn't a tied house, or sometimes even if it was, you'd very often see Bass. I can't remember who Bass was affiliated with. Was it with Pred? Was it with... You'd see it everywhere. Maybe it wasn't affiliated. Anyway, it was very popular in the pub in its day. But I can't really see why. I mean, I think it must have been that. It must have been cheap and cheerful. It's pale, so it's not too difficult to drink. But it's not especially nice. If I were going to twin this with something, yeah, it might be the Heatherwood Original Bitter. I think it's better than that. And why do I think it's better than that? It's a little bit maltier. It's maybe a slightly more complex thing going on. Maybe 2 hops instead of 1, and maybe a little maltier than Heatherwood. But it's really not dissimilar. They both have a bit of a twang. Is it? I think it's the yeast they use. But I'm not knocking it. Some people have drunk this for years. It's consistent. And it's been around for years. But I can't say that I like it very much. I won't be buying any more of these. And so, if we come to stick or twist, I'm afraid it's a twister. Yep, I'm going to gamble on something else. I'm going to gamble that something else will be nicer, and I'd be very surprised if I ended up coming back to that at any point in the rest of the evening. Yeah, that's about the best I could say for it. It's almost dark enough to make a shandy. Sorry Bass. I'm amazed that you're still able to sell this. You must have an awful lot more competition these days. Well, that's it then. I'm gonna struggle to force the rest of this one down. I might just squeeze in another beer review this evening. I'll have to see how I go. I've got some cooking to do, and, some cats to feed, and, some other things to achieve, no doubt. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you, for you to see me again in another review very soon. Toodaloo.